Thank you so much for coming along to today's webinar, which is Get Selling Online. And today what I'm going to go through is what you need to consider before you get started with a website. Also, what are the different options available to you, as well as we've got 7 site essentials that every e-commerce shop really should have in there. It can be really exciting getting started on a website, but there's a few things that you really need to ask and find out about. I mean, the first thing is, is there a market for your product? Does anyone want to buy what you're selling? And the answer is they probably do. And if people want to buy what you're selling, somebody else has probably got there first. If no one's selling the same as you, either you have an amazing new product or it's just too difficult to sell online. So get online, do some research, have a look at Google, put some searches in about your product, finding the keywords and phrases that your customers are going to use. Also check out your top competitor sites. See what's good about them, what you like about them, and look for areas that you can differentiate and have a website that's actually better than theirs. Google has a wonderful keyword tool, and what that does, it helps you see how much competition is out there. It's based on AdWords, however, it still gives you a very good indication, even if you're not looking to advertise. It's worth spending a lot of time working through your search terms, the words that people are going to use to find your site, because you're going to use those through search engine optimization, blogging, and actually through any social media activity that you do. If that you do see a lot of competition, don't get put off. If you find a niche and focus on that, it's going to be easier to make your mark than if you try and do everything all at once. In building up my lingerie business, which I've had for about 2 years now online, I focused on 2 niche brands. I knew these were difficult to get hold of in stores because they only stock specialist boutiques, and they also weren't available on the large competitor websites like Fig Leaf. In the last 2 years, my online business has grown to be 70% of my total revenue. So hopefully during this webinar, I'm going to be able to share with you some of those tips and tricks, and also some mistakes that I've actually made and learned from that you will now hope to be able to avoid. So looking at how much this is going to cost. The cost really depends on the type of web shop you choose, from the marketplace option like Amazon, eBay, which has a small to zero initial investment, to the all-singing, all-dancing bespoke web shop designed by an agency, which can cost thousands. However, the initial cost of the site itself may not be all that you're facing. You're going to need to consider additional costs for hosting, product photography, copywriting, search engine optimization, ongoing maintenance, even buying the packaging to send your products out in. So before you even start, you've got to work out whether or not you can make money at this. Now, I'm not a fan of slaving over an Excel spreadsheet, but I do like to know that all the hard work and investment I put into something results in a decent profit. So by identifying the average margin you're going to make on each sale, you're going to identify whether, if you've got a low margin, you're going to have to sell a lot of volume to make your money back, or if you've got a higher margin, you can get away with selling less. Then you have to identify how many visitors you're going to need to get to your site before someone buys something. Now this is called a conversion rate. The average conversion rate for an e-commerce shop can be as low as between 2 and 3%. In addition to your product costs as well, you've got ongoing costs, advertising, web hosting, postage, website maintenance costs that all need to be factored in. And this helps you work out what your profit per item is. So you're going to be able to identify how many pieces you can sell, that you need to sell before paying back your initial investment. You'll also be able to work out how much you can spend on getting up and running in the first place. So if we actually look at the 4 different options, the main options for getting up and running. Now, marketplace, this is sort of Amazon, eBay. There's some great benefits from using these, including the amount of visitors they have, the brand value and the trust people have with them, which gives them more confidence when purchasing. Next to no setup costs. If you set up an eBay shop, you have a small monthly cost, and both platforms charge you a fee per sale. Now, that all sounds fantastic. Unfortunately, there's a few things you need to be aware of. On Amazon, for example, there is no ability to add any of your own branding. So you're not going to be able to communicate directly with customers. And in fact, it's actually forbidden for you to contact them directly, which means you can't build a relationship with the customer. And as you don't own the platform, that customer relationship only lasts as long as your presence on that site. So you're not getting the same long-term value that you would do if you were owning your own web platform. The fees can be a little bit high on Amazon. They are higher than eBay. And they have very strict levels of service, which sounds great. However, if you don't adhere to these, and they can be very tight, Amazon can close your account. Not only are they strict about sort of dispatch dates and service, also about the photography you use, because they're trying to make it look very professional and very uniform. In that respect, it's very difficult to differentiate yourself from every other vendor on there, because it is very competitive. And so it ends up that the only thing that you can compete on is price, and that's just not sustainable in the long run. eBay, however, is a bit of a different kettle of fish, because you can actually set up your own eBay shop. You can brand it. You can build relationships directly with the customer. eBay are very helpful in providing marketing tools, giving you templates on how to use newsletters, and even having the analytics to tell how well you're doing, and it helps you tweak your site for effectiveness. It is, however, if you're selling products that aren't just multiples of the same item, it can be time consuming to upload it. I found when I've used it, the fee structure can be a little bit confusing because you have different fees for buy it now and different fees for auction pieces. There's also still the perception that eBay is full of discount price products. And because of that, I've found the customer service element really time consuming, much more time consuming for the full price website that I have. And finally, I think this is one of the most important things, because you don't own the platform, you don't have the long-term benefit. As soon as you leave eBay, that benefit has gone, all that hard work. Facebook has recently come to the fore with what they call S-commerce. So you can actually add a Facebook shop to your brand pages. Now, it's been a bit slow to take off, and we've seen some large businesses like Levi decide to actually call it quits. But if you decide to give it a go, have a look at an app called pavement.com. You can see the logo down there on the slide. It's really simple. It doesn't cost you anything to set it up, and it has some really helpful resources to improve your offering, including help advertising and the analytics. But I'd say if this is your first and only foray into e-commerce, I think it's a better bet would be to look at an off-the-shelf product like Shopify. When people are in Facebook, they aren't at this moment in the mindset for shopping and purchasing. They're at a leisure thing. They're hanging around, they're checking in with their friends. So I think at this stage it's a bit early for Facebook commerce. Now, going back to the off-the-shelf products, there's a lot around. What this is a basic template. Basic template that you can amend and bespoke to your requirements. It's actually how I started my business. It has a low startup cost, which are in the hundreds of pounds rather than the thousands that an agency site would cost. And it's meant that I could see if there was a market for my product with a little risk. Now, after over 2 years, I'm going down the agency design route for a more polished, professional look and feel. Now, with an agency website, you should be getting a very professional looking site that inspires confidence in your visitors, as well as being simple to navigate and purchase from. An agency can provide valuable help in getting you set up. However, don't be under the illusion that they're going to do everything for you. However good an agency is, they aren't psychic. Unless you stipulate that in your brief that you want copywriting, photography, search engine optimization to be covered, they could end up back with you. If you are looking for an off-the-shelf product, there are certain aspects that I think you can go through when you're looking at the different options. Design. Can you change the template without too much technical knowledge? I mean, you're probably going to want to change the layout, the colors, add images, and make your site look more professional. If you don't have HTML experience, get on to one of the test options and see how easy it is for you to do it yourself. Also, can you add pages when you want? That flexibility in adding pages is important. You may want extra pages about your business, terms and conditions, shipping and delivery, for example. What about the support that's offered? Does the company offer a support package? The company I use is a business called Pace Retail, and that provided unlimited support, which was absolutely perfect. They had a small team, and I got to know them really well. And they had the patience of a saint for all my novice questions at the time. Hosting. It's really important that your website is hosted in the same country that you're selling in, because it improves your rankings on the search engine. So work out whether that is the case. Payments. If you want to sell something, you've got to be able to take the money. Now, what payment options are they supporting? PayPal, Google Checkout, a merchant bank option like SagePay. I use on my site SagePay and PayPal. Although PayPal also allows people to use a credit card, you won't have to go through the rigmarole of getting a merchant account. However, if you're serious about this, I think you can't get away without having a merchant account. There are costs associated with setting up SagePay, but the cost per transaction are going to be lower than what PayPal charge. And the great thing is the cash goes straight into your bank account, whereas in PayPal, it's going to take 3 or 4 days every time you transfer it. Uploading stock. How are you getting that stock onto the website? How many images, how many items can you get on there? Can you do it in a bulk uploading, or is it difficult to amend? For example, if you sell something out, can you take it off bit by bit? Images. How many images can you have with your listing? Is it possible to magnify your images? A picture paints 1,000 words. It's really important that the images you have on your website do whatever they can to help those purchases happen. A lot of the providers that offer a 30-day free trial, it's really worth taking the time to check these out thoroughly. It can save you a lot of time and hassle in the long run. However, if you do want to get an agency, this is a process I've been through recently, do some research before you start. Speak to people who've got a website that you like. Get their experiences and see who they recommend. The world's gotten a lot smaller, and you can get web designer all over the world or just down the road. Locations often can have a bearing on the price, but that doesn't mean cheaper is always better. Also, when you're doing your research, check if an agency has experience with e-commerce. If they don't, I'd steer clear. It doesn't matter how great a design is if they're only used to building websites for lawyers. Interestingly enough, many agencies use their own platforms to set up the e-commerce sites. which means once you have their website, you're tied to them. I like to use open source platforms such as Drupal, Magento, etc. It means if the worst happens, someone else is going to be able to take over your site for you. When you are getting to the stage where you want to talk to agencies, write a brief. If you don't communicate with an agency exactly what you want, then you can't expect them to read your mind. I think web agencies get a bit of a hard time now and again for not producing first time what the client wants and then having to charge more to make changes until they get it right. It can be a bit unfair if you haven't given the agency a full and comprehensive brief. Better to put too much information in than not enough. Part of that brief should be setting a budget. If you're not sure how much you're going to spend, you can always speak to a few agencies to get a ballpark figure. They're always going to let you know if you can get what you want for the money that you're willing to pay. And I'd always keep some money aside just in case there's some additional features or changes you want made. Because you don't want to be in a position where your website won't be ready to launch because you're short of a few £100. Now, on the whole, the majority of agencies are legitimate and they provide a good service. But there are a few out there that are less than scrupulous in their dealings. Making sure you ask the right questions is going to help you pick the good from the bad. You'll need to find out about their experiences, details on costs, etc. And as part of when I post this recording online, I'm going to put a link to a blog post that's 64 questions to ask your web design agency that I found really helpful. And finally, you can speak to 3 or 4 different agencies, but when it comes to your choice, they need to fulfill the brief, they need to be the right price, and realistically, you've got to be happy working with them. You can ask all the questions in the world, and you can get an excellent proposal, but if you don't like them, or you've got one of those niggling feelings that something isn't right, don't ignore it. This is a big step for your business, and it's a considerable investment. You really need to feel comfortable with these people. And it can be a fantastic experience, but it can be easily be a nightmare. And that's more often or not down to you and the preparations and questions you ask. Now, with all sites, whether you choose to go for an off-the-shelf or an agency's, I would say these 7 points are essential. Structure. When a customer lands on your new site, it's important that they find exactly what they're looking for really easily without having to hunt high and low. You only have seconds before that potential customer decides it's too much effort and they would be better off trying somewhere else. A good site structure is vital to your rankings on Google. Google sends spiders crawling all over your site, and if they end up going down dead ends, or there's no logical structure for them to follow, you're not going to get to the top of the search rankings. What I've got here on the right-hand side is a simple outline of the structure I use on my lingerie site. As you can see, it's a bit like a tree with branches growing out of it. So before you can start setting up your site, draw your version of the tree and add it to your brief. Content. Working out your structure is also going to help you thinking about the written content for your site. There's 2 key areas that will involve you sharpening your copywriting skills, and that's your product descriptions and your blog. When you are writing your product descriptions, make them unique. Don't just copy and paste them from product to product, changing the odd word. Google loves unique content. So don't just use the blurb suppliers give you, because that's what probably all your competitors are doing. Add your own spin and personality to it. Also, said back when we talk about research that you had to work out what your keywords were. Now this is where you want to use them. Use your keywords that you'd like to rank highly in Google for. But just make sure you don't stuff it silly. Google isn't daft. It quickly dismisses content that's so full of keyword it doesn't make sense to the reader. Again, it sounds a silly thing to say, but make sure you include all the pertinent information about the product. You have to almost over-communicate at this stage because people don't have that information that they get from touching and trying on. So the more information, useful information you can give to the buyer, the better. When you are writing, make it easy to read. People scan information online, and if it's written like War and Peace with big chunky paragraphs, they're just going to skip by it. Now looking at the blog, now as I said before, Google just eats up fresh content. If you keep publishing fresh content to your site, Google's going to come calling more often, and that increases your chances of ranking well. To ensure you benefit from this, look at something like a WordPress blog in your site and update it regularly. Images. You know, good quality images can really help customers get a better idea of what they're buying. If you have images from the supplier, that's going to make your life a lot easier. When I started out, I started taking my own. I bought a lighting tent, a couple of lights, and a tripod to try and make my images look as professional as possible without having the expense of a photographer. The size of your images also has an impact. If they're too large, they're going to slow down the loading of your site. And if they're too small, people won't be able to see the products. I saved mine at 600 by 800 pixels. It's quite a good size visually. It's also important to what they call alt tag your images. The alt text is the text that shows up when you run your mouse over the image. Again, it's another place you can put keywords and describe your product. Then you have additional information. Now it's really easy to focus on the product information, the images and the website structure, but don't forget to include all those bits of information that's going to help people make the purchase decision. Shipping and delivery, payment methods, if you're doing clothing, what are the sizing guides, the returns policy is always really important and how you deal with that. What your contact details are. You know, contact details I would put very high up on your site, put it on your front page, put it on every page, because then they don't have to go looking for it. And then obviously you have an About Us page. You see this a lot. It tells people a little bit about your business, and it helps give people confidence that you are a bona fide and legitimate place. Security. There's so many stories about internet fraud and identity theft that people are rightly concerned about security when shopping online. Your site needs to look like a professional, legitimate business. And the more professional the setup, the more trust you're going to engender. When I started my site, I had a shared security certificate from my e-commerce platform I was using. This meant my site was safe, but because I didn't solely own the certificate, I couldn't put a logo on my site. The £50 it cost me for my own security certificate paid off in, just a couple of sales. There's a variety of certificates on the market, VeriSign, Komodo, Trustwave, etc. I would recommend one of the most popular ones that you see on a lot of websites, because that's going to be familiar to the majority of your visitors. Google Analytics. You must have Google Analytics code on every single page of your website. So you're going to be able to then track where your visitors are coming from, how long they stay, what they do on your site, and hopefully it's going to attract you to lots and lots of sales. You're going to need to set up a Google account, and there's loads of helpful tutorials on how to get started, how you can navigate your way around the results, and what they all mean. These analytics are really, really vital. I can't stress this enough, to seeing how your site performs well, identifying what your conversion rate, and really helping you improve the whole process for the customer. Search engine optimization. It sounds very mystic sometimes when the experts talk about search engine optimization. But realistically, it's all about making sure your online shop is set up to rank highly in Google. The higher up in Google you are, the more visitors you're going to get. You don't necessarily need professional help out there. I mean, there are loads of online resources to help you learn how to do this if you have the time. I taught myself how to do it. And as a small business, if you have limited funds, it's worth learning a few bits on this. There is a website, which again I will list on the recording post on the Marketing My blog, called SEO Hacker, and that actually has a free basic course that guide you through it. I used a book called Get to the Top of Google, which I found broke it down in a very simple way for me. Search engine optimization is vital. If you are not ranking highly in search, people cannot find you. If they can't find you, they can't buy from you. Now, it could be a huge relief to have your website live. However, that's only the start. It takes a lot of effort as a small business to have a successful online shop. And don't be disheartened if you aren't flooded with sales the day you launch. It can take a bit of time. It takes time for Google to rank you. And it takes time, you know, you're going to constantly be improving. If you've done your preparation and you consistently work at optimizing and improving your site, those sales will come. So I wish you lots of luck. If you want some help or you need some further advice, you can find me at my website, which is marketingmy.co.uk. Ask me some questions on Twitter. My handle is MarketMy. And also there is a Facebook page /marketingmy.